Now we'll look at polynomials. What are polynomials? Polynomials in one variable, then we'll say polynomials in two variables, and then finally we'll understand what do we mean by the degree of a polynomial. What is a polynomial? A polynomial is an algebraic expression wherein the variables have only non-negative integer powers. So these are variables and they have non-negative integral powers. So for example, say we have 6p squared minus p plus 3. Now this is a polynomial because if you notice each term, the variables, that is p squared and p, they have non-negative integral powers. So if we have p to the power of something, this has to be greater than and equal to 0 because it has to be non-negative. That means it can be 0 or it can be greater than 0. So it is greater than or equal to 0 and it should be an integer. So it should belong to the set of integers. Similarly, say we have 9q cubed minus 5q squared minus 4q minus 8. So first of all, we just need to observe the variables, not the constant. So even if the constant has, say, power which is minus 1 by 3, which is a negative power and it is not an integer, so even this is okay for a polynomial because we are not bothered about the constant part. We are just bothered only about the variable parts. So q cubed, this is q squared and q. So this is a polynomial because all the powers are non-negative integers. And it need not even be of the same variable. For example, if we have 3m squared minus 7n minus 2. Now we have an m when we have an n, but this is also a polynomial. Now let us say we have 4r to the power of 3 plus 5r plus 2 upon r plus 6r to the power of half. Now this is not a polynomial. Why? Because it contains a fractional power. Though this is non-negative, but it is a fraction. It is not an integer. So because there is a fractional power of the variable, this is not a polynomial. Polynomials in one variable. A polynomial that includes only one variable would be a polynomial in one variable. What do I mean? For example, 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x plus 4. Now this is a polynomial in the variable x. Similarly, say we have 8y cubed plus 5y squared minus 3y minus 7. Now this is a polynomial in the variable y. So both are polynomials in one variable. Now what about polynomials in two variables? Say we have the polynomial p cubed q squared minus 4 p to the power of 4 q to the power of 3 plus 6 p q. Now this is a polynomial where the variables are p and q. So first of all, it is a polynomial because all the powers of the variables are non-negative integers, and there are two variables which are involved in this polynomial, p and q. So this is a polynomial in two variables. What is the degree of a polynomial? So degree of a polynomial is the highest power of the variable in that particular expression. For example, if we have m to the power of 5 minus 3m cubed minus m plus 9. So in this case, this is a polynomial of degree 5 because the highest power of m is 5. Similarly, if we have 10n to the power of 7 minus 4n to the power of 4 plus 2n to the power of 3 minus n squared minus 6. Now this is a polynomial of degree 7 because the highest power of n is 7. Let's take up another example. Say we have 8k to the power of 4 minus 5k squared plus 3k minus 1. Now in this case, the variable here is just k, okay, and its powers are 4, 2 and 1, which are all non-negative integers. So this is a polynomial, and in this case the degree of the polynomial is 4 because that's the highest power of k is 4. Now the key points to remember from this video are what is a polynomial. So a polynomial has variables with non-negative integral powers. This you need to remember. Secondly, a polynomial can be in one variable or two variables and so on. Thirdly, the degree of a polynomial is the highest power of a variable in the expression. Let us take up this problem. We need to identify whether the following expressions are polynomials, and if they indeed are polynomials, we need to determine their degree. First, this is a polynomial because all the powers of t, the variables, are non-negative integers, 4, 3 and 1. And the highest power of t is 4, so the degree is 4. The second expression, however, is not a polynomial because here it contains a fractional power, and in this case this is nothing but 7s to the power of minus 1. So one term has a negative power and the other term has a fractional power for the variable s. So this is not a polynomial. Now polynomials are used in various fields including physics, engineering, economics. So we use them to model real world situations. For example, quadratic polynomials. So these are polynomials which are of the degree 2 and they are used to calculate projectile motion in physics. Similarly, we have cubic polynomials which are of degree 3 and they are used in 3D modeling and design.